the degree of material suffering that exists in some parts of the world, in some populations, is so extreme that I would be hard-pressed to believe that if we stopped accumulating and started redirecting resources towards needs, that we would have more suffering. It's hard for me to envision how we could have more suffering than we have now, except through more and more accumulation. Because what happens is, because we live on a finite planet, when I accumulate and move something towards me that I don't need and isn't going to be composted through my use into new something that will flow elsewhere, it just stays, it's congealed, it's energy that doesn't move, and it also means that there is less available overall in the system for circulation. So that means everybody else is going to have less to divide and distribute and circulate amongst them. So my accumulation creates scarcity. This is the thing that is really hard for many people to see, that there's a direct link between accumulation and scarcity. Now, I don't want to, kind of like skip over the reality that once you move from exchange to relationship, there is more immediate and apparent vulnerability. If I put my need on the table without the force of the money that I have, then I'm back to the dependence, the original dependence, which, because of the way that our societies are structured, feels inside of me like I am going to be helpless. It makes it really hard to put my needs out. It makes it really hard to relax into having unmet needs. And it also makes it really hard for anybody else to give to me, for fear that they will then have less. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The real question for me, in terms of thinking about an evolutionary leap, is gift economy on a small scale, either direct or through the commons, which is a mechanism of handling resources that everybody uses in parallel. Those work. We don't need to prove anything. It works. We know that. The question for me is whether we have the evolutionary capacity to scale. Because in order to scale, we need to expand our relationship capacity, our care capacity, not our giving capacity, but our capacity to see a larger circle of people, entities, etc., as something that we care about, so that if we have resources, we will give to needs of people we may not even know. This is helping me understand something that I didn't understand up until now, literally up until this second. It is known in the world of so-called development that if you are, let's say, fundraising for hunger in some unknown country, in some unknown continent, I'm not even going to go into where hunger is and why it's concentrated there. Let's leave that alone. That's not the point. If you give statistics about all the difficulties that happen in that country, etc., you will get X amount of dollars for fundraising for the hungry people of that country. If you give the statistics and you also tell the story of one girl that is starving, you will get more than X dollars. If you tell the story of the girl and don't give the statistics at all, you get the most dollars. That's well known in the fundraising world. And now I understand the reason, because we give on the basis of relationship. And when we hear the story of the girl, we can feel like we have a relationship with this one person and we're giving to this one person. Even if we're not, we feel it. So there's one of our global tasks is to find a way to give based on a relationship with everyone, a relationship with the whole. I want to take Gandhi's words, there's enough for everyone's needs, but not for everyone's greed. This fits completely with the indigenous wisdom from around the world that fueled my faith in natural abundance, which is that if everyone takes what they need, not more and not less, there will be enough to keep sustaining the system. And because we have lost our trust in life, we are prone to taking more than we need when we can. And that, like I said before, creates a self-fulfilling prophecy that then leaves less for others, and then it sets us up against each other. So we see those who have less than us as eyeing what we have, so then we have to protect it, and then it intensifies the class struggles and all of these things, and it creates an environment of mistrust and fear and desire for control. So when you take a step of saying, I am not the owner of my resources, I am a trustee, it completely changes the questions you're going to ask yourself. Instead of asking yourself, what am I going to do to satisfy my needs tomorrow with the resources that I have? You're going to ask a question, given the fact that I am the trustee of what I have access to, but not of all the world's resources, only that which I have access to. How do I care for the whole in the most responsible, effective, efficient way? Where is the place to flow my resources to that is going to align most closely with my purpose, with my values, with the resources that I have, with my intuition, with all of these things? There's no escaping from it. Once you ask that question, it's like a door slams shut behind you, and you can no longer go back to the convenient world of private property. I own everything and I'm the master of whatever little money I have. You can no longer do that. I cannot answer your question. I just know that some of us ask it all the time. And when we ask it, we're going to get better and better and better at directing our resources well.